Hi friends, today I want to talk a little bit about failure. There's a quote by Scott Adams that says, "Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep." If you're participating in being productive in life, you're going to encounter setbacks. And I think it's a good idea to question what those setbacks mean, how you're going to define them for yourself in life. In other words, question the concept of failure and your notions about failure, and if it's a good idea to tweak them a little bit. I think now would be a good time to talk about Elon Musk. I find myself saying that phrase often in life recently, family gatherings, for example, be at the dinner table, but I digress. You can find an infographic of Elon Musk's failures online. I'll link to the article where I found this and you can look over it. It's very interesting and very enlightening. 1995, unsuccessfully applied for a job at Netscape. 1996, ousted as CEO of his own company, Zip2. 1999, the first PayPal product was voted as one of the 10 worst business ideas. 1999, crashed his newly bought McLaren F1 worth $1 million. 2000, ousted from PayPal while on a honeymoon. 2000, almost died from cerebral malaria. That can be a bummer. Quote by him, "Vacation will kill you." 2001, Russians refused to sell him rockets to send mice or plants to Mars. It's okay, I've been sending that email for the last 5 years. 2002, Russians turned him down again. Quote, "Young boy, no." Unquote. The impetus behind SpaceX. 2006, first ever rocket launch and first explosion. 2007, second rocket launch and second explosion. 2008, third rocket launch and third critical failure. So it didn't explode, but it critically failed, with NASA satellites on board. So that's bad. December 2008, both Tesla and SpaceX on the brink of bankruptcy. 2000, first rocket failure while landing at the ocean. Come on, Elon. You can't land a rocket on the ocean? 2014, Tesla Model S had several problems with spontaneous battery combustion. Would you be depressed at this point? 2015, fourth rocket explosion at launch. Second and third explosions when landing on a drone ship. You can't land a rocket on a drone ship, Elon. 2016, Model X delivers delayed more than 18 months. 2016, again, fifth rocket explosion at launch with Facebook satellites for Africa on board, worth $300 million. They said, quote, "couldn't rule out that the explosion wasn't caused by a UFO," unquote. So, it's crafty. Fourth, fifth, and sixth critical failures while landing on a drone ship. Wow, that was a rough ride. Good thing everything is perfect for him now.
I don't think you'd necessarily want to be me.
When it comes to experiencing turbulence in life, I like to invoke a plane analogy. Evoke a plane analogy. When you take off from an airport and you're going from Salt Lake City to Austin, Texas, and you encounter turbulence or you end up off track or your plane flips over or something of this sort, you don't turn around and go back. Actually, if your plane flipped over, you might just go to the nearest airport. But okay, wow, this analogy sucks. You're flying on a plane, it gets off course, you don't turn around and go back, you get back on course, and you get to your destination. This is a good way to approach failures or setbacks in the creative process. Stress and anxiety can begin to come into play when you experience a lot of setbacks. This is our natural reaction as humans. But trying things that may not work without anxiety is an important skill to have. This is what I think dealing with the emotional battle that you struggle with on a daily basis is. It's important to be diligent about that. Over neuroticism or a sensitivity to negative emotions can be a great enemy to creativity. Now, I think one tremendously powerful way that we overcome this is by repeating habits over and over. So what I've learned helps me is I have to practice the habit of having a calm energy on a daily basis as I'm facing what life throws at me. I also should expect that things will go wrong. I should start the day knowing that that's going to happen. And be optimistic about it. This isn't a pessimistic thought, this is a very optimistic thought. Practice the habit of welcoming those wrong and frustrating things. And to quote the Bible, consider it joy when you face trials of many kinds. I think it's a fantastic idea, and also incredibly difficult to figure out how to enjoy the challenge. See it as a bit of a chess match to be overcome. It's good to understand that there is character growth baked within that challenge. And whether you approach that experience, that challenge, negatively or positively, there is character growth for you. I think you don't experience things that you can experience if you approach it positively. If you do approach it negatively, what you're gonna get is you're probably going to have some breakthroughs that are wonderful for you, but you're not gonna be able to leverage the things that you can leverage with an optimistic viewpoint. I think it's also incredibly important to remember that it's supposed to be wildly frustrating and confusing. That comes with the territory of challenging yourself and doing something that matters. I was watching a video today that had Steve Jobs in it, and I heard him say, you cannot connect the dots looking forward, only looking backwards. Now, I think if you learn to optimize for that confusion, you can take care of yourself better within the process, prevent stress and anxiety, and there's a lot of horrible things that can come with overstress and over anxiety, and it's nefarious because you don't experience it until it can really become a problem and you need therapy, and you're having stomach problems, all the crazy things that can come. You're yelling at your wife. So not only can you better take care of yourself through that process, and if you're like me, you hope to repeat this process for the rest of your life, you can also innovate through that friction. So the more effectively and more efficiently that you can move through that friction, the better. And I think this does set apart people like Elon Musk from less remarkable people. I think that we can put ourselves through chaos and create negative effects by being risk aversive in our temperament and in our actions. And you won't see them coming until they come a lot of times. Another weapon against this is to remember to visualize your goal and where you want to end up with what you're up to, and to make a to-do list, to make it practical and break it down into steps. This is how you get your brain to do what you want it to do. That is it for this one. I would love to hear about your habits, whether they are regarding dealing with failure, sleeping habits, baking habits, bowel habits. It's important as a community to share your bowel habits with one another. Bye.